Hi, I'm Joyce,
And I'm Adriel.
and we are Divinely Guided. And tonight we are happy to be with you once again. Tonight we're going to talk about another item or action item or aspect or concept that can be very helpful when it comes to self-care. And tonight we're talking about staying connected and the importance of staying connected and maintaining connections. So what do you think about that, Adri? You like that idea?
Yeah. I think it's important.
Mm-hmm. And absolutely, we just finished with Julia's Let's Talk. And one of the things they talked about was technology and how sometimes the increasing use of technology in society starts to eat away at the level of connection that we have. But anyway, but connection, staying connected is an important thing when it comes to self-care. So we want to spend a little bit of time talking about that tonight. Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
You're going to have to carry since you did the research for this.
Oh, okay. Well, staying connected. I guess I'll start with some of the good advantages of staying connected, and then we'll talk a little bit about what does that mean? How do you stay connected? And we can talk about connections and how well we do at maintaining connections.
Yeah.
You start smiling in, huh? Thinking about some good connections?
No.
Oh. She said no. I thought you were going to say, yeah, because you have some great connections that you've maintained for a good little while here. Some of them.
Okay.
Some of them. You don't have a lot of connections, but you have some that are very good. Okay. But anyway, we digress. Okay, so let's get to it. Staying connected. Some advantages of staying connected. It is really helpful for your overall well-being, which is one of the concerns when you're talking self-care. It is good for your well-being. It makes it easier to ask for help. When you have connections with people, you maintain those connections, you feel that sense of connection, it's easier for you to reach out to someone that you're connected with, particularly if you're dealing with some social, some emotional or mental concerns or problems, or if you're just having a down day. It makes it easier to ask for help when you maintain those connections. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Staying connected helps you to ward off feelings of sadness and loneliness. A lot of times in this very technological world, it's easy to feel alone and sad because so much of our communications and interactions are done via technology. What do you think about that?
That's true.
That's true? Yeah. So having those connections, having that human touch, having that human interaction can help ward off those feelings of sadness and loneliness. Maintaining connections also helps when it comes to keeping your mind active. And again, because you're not so alone, or you're not spending all your time alone, of course your mind can be more active, I would think. Staying connected with others and taking part in social activities. It says it can also increase your confidence and improve how someone feels about themselves. So there are many good benefits to maintaining connections and staying connected. And it's really a little bit funny because I am becoming increasingly less connected with the people around me, with my friends, with my contacts. I have gotten increasingly less connected. And I think that was I was kind of an introvert at heart anyway, that kind of prefers to be by myself and prefers a lot of personal time, me time. But being retired has made it even more of an issue for me. As a matter of fact, just yesterday, I had a friend that I've had this friend for more than 50 years. more than 50 years. This friend has been in my life my entire life, and he's been one of my most steadfast friends. We went to elementary school together. We went to Pepperell School together. We went to Opelika Middle School together. We went to Opelika High School together. We went to the University of Alabama together. And so he's literally been my friend and is like a brother to me for more than 50 years, probably closer to 60 years than 50. But just yesterday he told me, you just killing me the way you just disappear. You just totally withdraw into yourself. And so we're talking about connections, and I, in all honesty, and I need to get some water, but in all honesty, I am not very good lately at maintaining connections, at least not outside of my immediate circle. Are you good at maintaining connections?
No.
No?
No, not at all. I'm exactly what you just described.
Uh-huh.
So we have that in common.
Uh-huh.
And
Every time we talk, we got something else in common.
Yes, we do. But the thing is, I have friends that they come to me and they're like, hey, you're disappearing. You want to hang out? You want to do something? It's not usually me, because I'll forget. I'll just be in my little world, in my little zone, and then they'll reach out to me and say, hey, let's do something this day. And so I'll go out and do stuff with friends, but normally it's them that has to pull me out.
Right.
Because if it was up to me, we would see each other once every 6 months or something like that. Like, I'm terrible about maintaining connections with people.
I really am. And it is something, like I said, there are so many good reasons. I've just outlined several for you on why maintaining those connections are good for self-care.
Yeah.
You know, and some women in particular, well, guys do too. They just have a different set of activities generally that they do when they're hanging out with their buddies than women do. But women in general, you know, they have more connections and more interpersonal relationships where they are closer.
Yeah.
I will say that my best connections, my closest connections, my most are my sisters. And we talk, although we don't always talk as much as we used to. You know, it's just, and one of my brothers, I was talking to him and he's like, Joyce, you're like me. I can just stay in my house. I tell him all the time, I just sit over here in my shack and I'm satisfied. Sit over here in my little shack, as we like to refer to our houses. And I'm just satisfied to sit in here.
Yeah.
And fall back in that personal space that we talked about last week. But those connections are important. And so if you're thinking, all right, yes, I find myself not having as many connections or not maintaining my connections as closely as I once did, there are some suggestions that I found on how you can maintain or build or expand on those connections. So one of the things that I saw, and this was interesting, was choose to video chat or even talk over the phone. Good old-fashioned talk over the phone rather than texting. And that's one of the things I think has really become a big thing. We talk or we message or we do other things rather than have a one-on-one conversation. What about you? Do you have a lot of personal phone calls?
Not really.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my friends don't generally call each other.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's not really a thing.
We were talking about the generational divide on Let's Talk, and that is one of the things. Your generation doesn't really
talk over the phone.
Right.
We'll FaceTime each other.
Uh-huh.
We'll FaceTime each other all the time. But like a phone call,
but a video chat or
chat,
talk.
Video chat.
But see, those I think are better because you do have you have the ability to look a person in the face. Because when you're not seeing a person's face, you're missing a big part of the conversation.
You are. I don't.
You can't see
enjoy
expressions.
talking on the phone.
But when you're texting and all that, you can't see a person's expressions. A lot of my communication is in the expression. I can say something to you where I'm totally just kidding or where I'm very serious, but I can say it and it sounds exactly the same. But if you see my facial expression, you can see the expression that goes with. Or even when you're talking on the phone, you can hear the inflection or the intonation when a person is saying a word or a phrase, and know whether or not they're, serious, if they're hurt, if they're angry, if they're surprised, but you can't see any of that through a text or through a message. Now with video chatting, you can. You can see the facial expressions, which in many cases is even better than just talking on the phone old-fashioned way.
Yeah.
Because you're looking them in the eye. I can tell more about you when I'm looking you in your eyes, and I need to see how you're reacting to me.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it says one way to maintain connections is to choose a video chat or talk on the phone instead of texting or messaging, because you can see their face and hear their voice, and that increases connection. Send an e-card just to say hi. I don't think I've ever sent an e-card.
What is an e-card?
You do them online. It literally is what it says. It's like a greeting card that you send via.
That just sounds like a text message.
Yeah. Well, but I guess the difference is it has the flowers or whatever you want in the background, like a card.
Yeah, I'll just check in with you with a text message. I've done that with people before that I haven't talked to in a long time.
Now, I used to be really much better at checking in on my friends, and because I had a habit, a habit, I will say. If someone came across my mind and they stayed there for a moment, for me, that was the world telling me, or the spirit telling me to check on them. So I would stop and call them. I don't stop and call people now. I don't even feel like people want me to call them, and I don't. They don't want me to call and say, "Hey, how you doing? You all right? You just came across my mind." I don't. If you think people are open to that, you let me know in the comments below. But I don't know how many people are really open to just the random phone call, say, "Hey, how you doing?" I don't know.
If I'm not close with you and you call me, that's kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
Calling is like a step. It's more personal than texting. At least it is for this generation. I don't know. But we don't just, like, if we're to the level where we're calling, we either have a very specific reason for calling or we're close.
Okay. But I wouldn't just have anybody's phone number.
Well, yeah.
Although now I have been horrified to learn that through many of these apps, people can just call you.
What?
People can call you through these apps. I was scrolling through my phone one day and I hit video call by accident. I was like, "Oh my God, I called somebody," and I hung up. But it was somebody I knew, and it probably wouldn't have been horrible, but I was horrified because I didn't intend to call that person. But I was like, "Oh my Lord, I've called somebody." But I've been horrified because, I hung up real quick so I didn't have to talk to them. But I've been horrified because I've had like total strangers call me on Instagram. I didn't know you could do that. And I'm like, "Why are you calling me?"
Yeah, you can do that.
You know what I did?
You blocked them.
I blocked them. Like, don't call me. Who are you and why? But they can call. I've had calls through Facebook.
Yeah.
And some of those were business related, were church business related, people trying to be vendors for Juneteenth. But I'm like, I didn't know you could just call people randomly. So you don't even have to know a phone number. You can just call people. Who knew? See, that old ladies and technology, it's not always good. Because I didn't know. But anyway, so I digress. We've gotten off the subject. Call a neighbor or distant relative just to see how they're doing. They suggest that as a way of maintaining connections. Write a handwritten letter to a friend. Wow.
That is sweet, though. I've been considering doing that lately. There's something so quaint and sweet about writing a letter to somebody.
There's a degree of, this is going to sound crazy, but there's an elegance to writing a letter. I tell you what, I had changed jobs at Auburn University. I had gone from Project Uplift back to working with Outreach. And when I left, one of the people that I worked with in Project Uplift had sent me a nice handwritten letter in a card. And it was like, say it isn't so. Joyce, I heard you're leaving. Say it isn't so. I'm just going to miss you. You live up to your name. Of course, our names mean joy. They mean happiness. Because Adrielle and I have the same first name. We're both Joyce.
Yes.
But so our names mean joy. And
Do
she's
not
like,
call me Joyce.
call her Joyce.
Do
Call
not
her
call me
Joyce. But our name means joy. And so she said, you live up to your name so well. I'm going to miss you so much. And it, it meant so much to me that she stopped and she wrote me that handwritten letter when I was leaving. And I, we don't do handwritten letters anymore.
Yeah. I like it.
For my aunt to my mom's last surviving sister, of course, she passed last year, but I used to send her handwritten letters, and I would get the pretty paper and I would sit down and when I take my time, my cursive is really, it is nice.
It is.
And so I would take my time and I would write her letters, and she would just so appreciate them.
Oh.
But the art of writing letters is lost.
Yeah.
And that is something that when I first started working, my early years as a professional, I would still write letters to my friends, but that has gone by the wayside.
Yeah.
Those letters were replaced by emails, and eventually they disappeared altogether.
Yeah. Now, again, it's just a text message.
Yeah, a quick text message. And you can't hold on to those things like you can that old letter or the card.
It's not the same.
It's not. Although I have an email that I came across when I was going back and looking at some of my journals. And this was an email that it meant a lot to me because I printed that email out. But in that particular email, it was from a friend of mine. It was after I had graduated from the University of Alabama, and I was working full time. And it was in a time when I was still dreading birthdays because for me, they reminded me of what I had not done. But I came across that email because it's in a journal, and I saw it, and my friend was telling me, no, you should celebrate your birthday. You have done so much. You've impacted so many people. You are one of the what did he call it? The hidden heroes or something he said that just really meant a lot to me. So even though we don't write anymore, those things, they're nice. They're nice because it did my heart good to go back and see the email I had gotten from my friend Brian Jackson. And all the more so because he died rather suddenly last year.
Oh.
So just having that message from him means the world to me that I have that. But other ways to stay connected: prepare a meal for a friend. Have you ever prepared a meal for a friend? Yes, you do that. You're still that connected.
I love cooking for people.
Set up a regular video chat with someone you want to stay in better touch with. When I saw that one, it kind of reminded me of COVID because COVID stole a lot of our connectedness. And so my family, we were always, Sunday afternoons were always our time. And with COVID, when we did church virtually and they were telling us to stay apart, and with all of the hidden medical conditions that some of my siblings have, we were very conscientious about trying to isolate and stay in our own spaces. And so do you remember when we started doing the Zoom calls so we could have some connectedness again?
Zoom calls?
Yeah, you don't remember being on any of those? Because Julia was like, I miss my family so much, and so we started doing Zooms. You don't remember any? Maybe you didn't get
I
on.
don't know.
Yes, you did get on those. You did.
Well, we were just on Zoom?
Yeah, just talking and laughing, and everybody having dinner at their house and laughing. And Marcus was on and cutting up, and Julia and Althea and Jordan. And
No, I was in school at this time.
you were in school.
So I don't know.
You were at Montevallo.
I
Maybe
have
you didn't
no
get
memory of
on
that.
with us. Maybe you didn't get on with us. But I thought about that because we did start having those. And you weren't on any of those.
I don't remember that at all.
Well, we did. Start a virtual book club.
I was in one of those.
Really?
Yeah. I never read the books. I would just, a lot of them I had read already, so I'd be at the conversations. It just got kind of boring, but I was in one and it was nice. Maybe I'll start back at some point.
Okay. And then they also say you should take time to connect with yourself.
I'm good at that.
Yeah. An at-home workout.
Yeah.
Meditating.
Yeah.
Relaxing with a book or favorite TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Check.
Yes.
So your self-connectedness is good.
Oh yeah, that's great.
So what about your connections? How well do you do with your connections?
I have
Would you say?
few close friends that I maintain good relationships with, good connections with.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else, they kind of just, they float out there somewhere. Mm-hmm. And then when I remember, I go, let me text this person and see what they're up to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But normally it's them coming to me.
Oh,
Because
okay.
again, I'm terrible about it.
Well, I have literally, I've gotten terrible. I am fortunate that I do have some friends who will reach out to me.
Yeah.
And then social media at least gives me access to my friends.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the choir members from the University of Alabama, the gospel choir, that will forever be my family. But I communicate with a lot of them still through social media. And otherwise, I probably wouldn't communicate with them all. And some of my other buddies still from the University of Alabama, too, I can keep in touch with that way. My class of 82 from Opelika High School, I don't really communicate with a lot of them, but some of them I see through social media.
That's wild.
Why did you chuckle?
Because this fact that you talk to anybody from high school still. Because I graduated in 2016 and I'm already like down to one person from high school that I still talk to. I can't imagine.
Well, some of them I not only graduated from high school with, but then we went off to college together.
My college friends, I can count on. Do I talk to any of them? Like, it's terrible. The connections is terrible.
Mm-hmm. So, who do you feel like you can reach out to when you need someone to talk to on a very personal level?
Like, which friend of mine?
I mean, who you're saying you don't have contact with your friends, or so who is your closest contact? Jasmine.
Which hopefully she's watching this right now. Hello.
Jasmine, a little sweet pea.
Yeah.
But anyway, those personal connections and maintaining some sense of connection, it is very important that you deliberately do it because it is so easy. And I'm talking to myself now. It is so easy to just disappear and totally disassociate with everyone. And so I'm hearing it from multiple people about not staying in the house all the time.
Yeah. You do stay in this house a lot.
I do, and I like to stay in the house. And
I actually don't.
And like I said, retiring just made it
weird.
All the more, that I like to stay in the house. And I will get up, I get dressed, I'll put on my hair and my makeup and, but I still don't want to go outside. And I had somebody tell me one day, you mean you just get dressed up and sit in the house? Yes, but I've kind of always done that. In high school, I would get dressed and not go out.
Okay. I mean, I do that too, but I go out a lot. Mm-hmm. It's just I go out alone a lot.
You do.
That's what I do.
You do.
That's the thing.
So how much connection is involved? I guess self-connection. If you're going out alone.
Yeah, it's just self-connection. I go out alone a lot.
Mm-hmm. You do. You spend whole days out.
I do.
By yourself. But anyway, so what about you? Are you maintaining connections? Do you notice a lack of connection in your life? Are you deliberate in maintaining some connections? Do you feel better once you've spent time with friends and family? I did a big thing for me the other day. I went to a lunch with my coworkers. That it was a big deal because I don't usually go. And they invite me all the time to those meals, especially since I've retired. And so I do work with them part-time, but I do it from home. And so they always invite me to the Christmas events and to the staff appreciation events and to the we're having a conference just to check up and see what all the units are doing. They always invite me and I never go. I was like, okay, well, I'll see how I'm feeling, and inevitably I will feel like I don't want to go, and I stay at home. And the killer part is when I got dressed and went to the lunch the other day. On my way, I started to turn around repeatedly and say, well, I don't really want to go. I got to talk to people when I get there. I got to see people when I get there. What if my introvert takes over and I don't have anything to say? Because sometimes my introvert can take over and it's like, all I want to do now is sit in the back of the room and figure out how I can slip out.
That's me all the time.
And I was at a meeting one day and they were playing a little game. And I was like, I don't want to play a game. And when it got my turn, I told them honestly, I was like, I'm sorry, my introvert has taken over and I really don't want to do this. And they said, okay. I was like, I don't want to play a game. But anyway, oh man, we have gone off the rails. I'm so bad about going off the rails. But connections. Maintain some connections. It's good for your mental well-being. It's good for your self-confidence. It's good for when you need to be able to reach out to someone and say, hey, man, I need some help right now. I'm struggling. Mm-hmm. And we all should have somebody that we can say, this is not a good day for me.
Yeah.
I need some help today. So anyway, that's all I have to say about connections. Did you want to add anything? I've done all the talking today. I'm going to insist that you say something.
We were having a conversation. You were bringing up topics and I was commenting on them. So, okay. I mean,
okay.
Do I have anything to add that you have not said?
Do you? Yes. That's the question.
I don't think I do.
So she doesn't think that she does. Let me ask you a question. Do you think your generation is as connected as, say, my generation may have been?
Well, judging from the fact that I don't talk to anybody from high school or college already, and you still maintain those friendships, probably not. But then again, that is just my experience, so I don't know. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And that's also just your experience, so I don't know.
And I'm not the most connected person to my high school. I mean, I was, I saw something recently on Facebook where they had something recently, the class of, my class from high school, and I was like, I wonder if that was a full class thing or was it just a few people. But I asked them to take me off the list a long time ago. I went to our 20th reunion and I haven't been to anything. I'm
not going to any reunions. I can't see me going to any reunion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just a big time introvert. I don't even know. Mm-hmm. I might be worse than you. Mm-hmm. I really might. Because at least you can cover it up. I don't even cover it up well. I'm just I'm just there.
Right. I can turn on my PR personality because PR was part of my job. So I can turn on that PR personality.
So you're asking most the wrong person, I think.
Okay. But yeah, I can turn it on because I had to go out and basically help raise money for Project Uplift. I was on the speakers board for the United Way, and so I would have to go out and talk to businesses and companies and get them to make financial donations. And of course, I still have to do that now for our church, and I need to go out and raise some money soon. So I have to turn the PR on then. But anyway, we've gotten off the trail again. Oh well, you have to give us a C for concentration today because we've gone off. But anyway, maintain those connections. How are you doing with it? Are you doing it? Do you still make phone calls? Do you write letters? Do you have friends from 50 plus years? See, I have friends from 50 plus years. So even though I'm an introvert, I still have some friends, although he told me I was terrible yesterday. He didn't say I was terrible, but he said I can just disappear. But anyway, I'm trying, Jerry. I love you, though. I love you. But anyway, so that's all we have tonight on Connections. Feed your connections. Maintain your connections. Do what you need to do to maintain your mental well-being. Focus on your self-care because you deserve it. Good night.
Good night.